In this video, we're going to explore a couple theories about what motivated Donald Trump to run for president. The first question is, was this just a publicity stunt that got out of hand? After all, he's always been an aggressive promoter. So you have to wonder, was he trying to lose and just couldn't catch a break? We'll never know Trump's true intentions, but he has flirted with the idea for nearly 30 years.
This sounds like political presidential talk to me, and I know people have talked to you about whether or not you want to run. Would you ever?
Probably not, but I do get tired of seeing the country ripped off.
Why would you? You've said, though, that if you did run for president, you believe you'd win.
Well, I don't know. I think I'd win. I tell you what, I wouldn't go in to lose.
I am looking very, very seriously as to whether or not it can be won.
Or make some sort of decision by January.
Well, I'm going to announce whether or not I decide to run or whatever. I am seriously thinking about it. I won't make a decision till June.
And he dropped out again in May of 2011. So what changed this time around? Oddly enough, many insiders believe that he truly made a serious decision to run 2 weeks earlier. That's when he was roasted at the White House Correspondents' Dinner.
Say what you will about Mr. Trump, he certainly would bring some change to the White House. Let's see what we've got up there. In an episode of Celebrity Apprentice, at the steakhouse, the men's cooking team did not impress the judges from Omaha Steaks. And there was a lot of blame to go around, but you, Mr. Trump, recognized that the real problem was a lack of leadership. And so ultimately you didn't blame Little John or Meatloaf. You fired Gary Busey. And these are the kind of decisions that would keep me up at night.
I think that is the night that he resolves to run for president. I think that he is kind of motivated by it. Maybe I'll just run. Maybe I'll show them all.
On the other hand, author David K. Johnston has investigated Trump for over 20 years, and he has another theory. According to Johnston, NBC threatened to cancel The Apprentice in 2015. That's why he believes that Trump launched the campaign to stay in the public eye and boost his brand. Is that a plausible theory? Granted, there are much cheaper ways of gaining exposure. After all, back in 2011, he claimed that he would spend $600 million of his own money. This time around, he pledged to spend $100 million, and he ended up spending $66 million. Regardless of what he spent, David K. Johnston insists that Trump actually profited from his campaign. And believe it or not, he did so without breaking the rules. His campaign paid for a variety of services from Trump's private business, such as leasing office space from Trump Tower or chartering his private jet for travel.
It's a profit deal.
One particular consultant certainly suggested that Trump was only interested in the publicity. Stephanie Sajilski was once a strategist for the Make America Great Again PAC. After resigning from that position, she stated in no uncertain terms that Trump never intended to win. According to Sajilski, she was told that the goal was to come in second place for the Republican nomination and have poll numbers over 10%. If he didn't want to win, how could he disqualify himself without actually quitting? Something like this comes to mind. By biting Holyfield's ear, Mike Tyson didn't have to throw in the towel, and he made himself more marketable. Yeah, something like this.
We're going to build a wall. It's going to be a real wall. See that ceiling up there? I mean, this is a wall that if you get up there, you're not coming down very easy.
You see that fucking big Moulian stand over there? You see that black guy over there at the line getting some candy? Yeah, you're right. Now, he's about 6'5". I'm 5'2". I ain't no big guy, all right? But I'm Italian. Watch this. You watch this, all right? Hey, excuse me, brother. let me have a box of juicy fruits and let me have some bonbons. I think I have some bonbons there, and let me have some junior mints and give me another box of juicy fruits and.
Who's gonna pay for the wall? Who?
You heard what I said, Mooly. Pay for my fucking candy.
I said the wall just got 10 feet higher. It's true.
In any other year, that would have been the end. But this election was different, and he had so much more to offer.
The man has very strong control over a country. Now, it's a very different system, and I don't happen to like the system. But certainly in that system, he's been a leader far more than our president has been a leader.
I have no relationship with Putin. But if you have no relationship with Putin, then why did you say in 2013, I do have a relationship? In 2014, I spoke...
Because he has said nice things about me over the years.
And then we're going to Washington, D.C. to take back the White House. Yeah!
Who are you consulting with consistently so that you're ready on day one?
I'm speaking with myself, number one, because I have a very good brain. And
we won with highly educated. We won with poorly educated. I love the poorly educated.
There will be plans, healthcare plans, that you never even heard about, that haven't even been thought about right now.
Actually, I was only kidding. You can get the baby out of here. Like this sleazy guy right over here from ABC. He's a sleaze in my book. No, you don't. You haven't been called. Go back to Univision.
No, Ted, I call him Lion Ted. He's Lion Ted. And, you know, that's his name. I defined him. I gave him this term, low energy. I said he's a low energy individual.
I just learned that Crooked Hillary, along with her friend, you know, she's got this goofy friend named Elizabeth Warren. She's on her Twitter rant. She's a goofus. She is a goofus.
Donald J. Trump is calling for a total and complete shutdown of Muslims entering the United States until our country's representatives can figure out what the hell is going on.
I'm a negotiator like you folks. We're negotiators. Do you want to renegotiate deals? Some of us renegotiate deals. I would say about 99.9. Is there anybody that doesn't renegotiate deals in this room? This room negotiates. I want to renegotiate this room. Perhaps more than any room I've ever spoken to.
Maybe they're bringing drugs. They're bringing crime. They're rapists. And some, I assume, are good people.
You're invoking his race when talking about whether or not he can do his job.
Jack, I'm building a wall, okay? I'm building a wall.
And there are several more examples like this. So with that in mind, if you believe that Trump never intended to win, then that means you subscribe to what I like to call the Brewster's Millions theory. The plot from Brewster's Millions had many parallels to the Trump campaign. If you're not familiar, Richard Pryor played Monty Brewster. In order to win a $30 million inheritance, he had to spend $300,000 over 30 days and have no assets remaining. He also had to keep this contest a secret, and he had several ideas to blow the money, one of which was to run for mayor of New York City.
The only thing that's silly is the power of the people's vote, and I think the people should use it to vote for none of the above.
How do you expect to find that kind of support for that position?
I don't expect to get support. In fact, I'm asking people not to send money into my candidacy. I think the people should keep their money. They're going to need it after this election.
The problem was, no matter how hard he tried, the people kept voting for him. Now, there are flaws to the Brewster's Millions theory. One of the issues with Trump's bizarre behavior is that it can be interpreted in multiple ways. In the following clip, it shows that Trump was seemingly not only trying to win, but he was willing to appeal to racist voters.
Condemn David Duke and say that you don't want his vote or that of other white supremacists in this election?
Well, just so you understand, I don't know anything about David Duke, okay? I don't know anything about what you're even talking about with white supremacy or white supremacists. So I don't know. I mean, I don't know, did he endorse me or what's going on? Because, you know, I know nothing about David Duke. I know nothing about white supremacists. And so you're asking me a question that I'm supposed to be talking about people that I know nothing about.
Trump later denounced David Duke, but he blamed his response in that interview on a bad microphone. That was clearly a lie.
What do you see as the biggest problem with the Reform Party right now?
Well, you've got David Duke just joined, a bigot, a racist, a problem. I mean, this is not exactly the people you want in your party.
Then there was this.
Russia, if you're listening, I hope you're able to find the 30,000 emails that are missing. I think you will probably be rewarded mightily by our press.
That leads to the second theory. Is it possible that this all started out as a publicity stunt, and at some point Trump became infatuated with the power? If you agree, then you support what I call the Breaking Bad theory. If you're not familiar with that show, Walter White was a high school teacher who resorted to selling meth in order to cover his spiraling healthcare costs. Meth was supposed to be a short-term solution for Walter White, but his ego took over and he rose up the ranks of the underworld.
Do you know how much I make a year? I mean, even if I told you, you wouldn't believe it. Do you know what would happen if I suddenly decided to stop going into work? A business big enough that it could be listed on the NASDAQ goes belly up. Disappears. It ceases to exist without me. No.
Does that remind you of anyone?
It's none of my business, but what are you worth? A guy like you.
It turned out I'm much richer, right? You see, much richer.
Well, it turned out I'm much richer than anybody ever knew.
I'm much richer than almost anybody.
If you believe in the Breaking Bad theory, then you probably noticed that Trump was visibly nervous during the first debate.
And when you're a star, they let you do it.
But after the Inside Edition tapes were released, he came out swinging in the second debate.
If I win, I am going to instruct my Attorney General to get a special prosecutor to look into your situation.
That kind of sounds like this guy.
You clearly don't know who you're talking to, so let me clue you in. I am not in danger, Skyler. I am the danger. A guy opens his door and gets shot, and you think that of me? No. I am the one who knocks.
It's just awfully good that someone with the temperament of Donald Trump is not in charge of the law in our country.
Because you'd be in jail.
And in the final debate, Trump was given the perfect exit opportunity with the abortion question, but he didn't flinch. Instead of waffling on the issue like he had done months earlier, he strongly supported overturning Roe v. Wade.
If we put another 2 or perhaps 3 justices on, that's really what's going to be, will happen. And that'll happen automatically, in my opinion, because I am putting pro-life justices on the court.
And in the last days before the election, Trump certainly appeared to be more focused. In fact, his 100-day plan was ambitious and loaded with anti-corruption pledges. 4 days before the election, Trump's aides even took away his Twitter privileges. As you know, he's prone to internet feuds like this one involving Jon Stewart. And when you look at how aggressively he finished his campaign, you have to consider a third theory. Were all of these shenanigans part of his strategy? Was there a method to his madness? After all, he needed far less campaign money because the media provided him with so much free publicity. And apparently he saved his best for last. This powerful ad was released 2 days before the election. It was well scripted, and it perfectly captured the populist spirit of his supporters. To wrap up, this was kind of a satirical video, but in all seriousness, I want to know your opinion. So please like and share this video. Most important, leave a comment to tell me if you think that Trump is for real, Brewster's Millions, Breaking Bad, or maybe a combination of all three.